Hi, I'm Mr. eTutor, your mystery tutor here at mysterytutor.com, and welcome to video module 5-2. In this module, we'll be discussing the 5 reasons we can tell that the College Board does not intend for sentence completion questions to be based on vocabulary. As I mentioned in module 5-1, the major problem that most test takers have with sentence completion questions is that they approach them in completely the wrong way. They try to memorize every single word in the English language, and frankly, that just doesn't work. Of course, almost every SAT tutor or SAT class or SAT book on earth will give you a whole ton of words to memorize if you let them. So, since I know you've already been told that all SAT takers should memorize some vocabulary, let me give you those 5 reasons, and then you'll be able to explain to anybody why it's not really about vocabulary when it comes to the sentence completion question. The first major way we can tell that these questions aren't supposed to be about vocabulary is that there's a much easier and more direct way to test vocabulary knowledge. If the College Board wanted to test your vocabulary, all they have to do is give you questions that say, which of the following is the meaning of the word X? And then give you 5 answer choices and see if you can pick which one is the meaning of the supplied word. If you want to test vocabulary, that's the way to do it. But that's not what the College Board does. Instead, the College Board gives you an entire prompt sentence for context, but that's not all the context you get. If you're smart, you'll also use my strategies to make the wrong answer choices into context too. The second way I know that the College Board doesn't intend for sentence completion questions to be about vocabulary is that there is no standardized vocabulary on the test. Let's compare the sentence completion questions to the math questions on the SAT-1. Now, the math test is definitely standardized for certain mathematical concepts. In fact, as we'll discuss in the math module, 100 pages of the College Board's official SAT guide is dedicated to nothing but mathematical concepts that can appear on the SAT Math. As we just said, the SAT Math is obviously standardized for math concepts. If the sentence completion were standardized for vocabulary, there would have to be a vocabulary list somewhere in the College Board's book, and the College Board would say something like, here's 10,000 words, we reserve the right to question you on any 80 of them. Have fun. But the College Board does nothing like that. And if we look at the tests over time, we can tell every test has words on it that have not appeared on any previous test. Again, this would not be the case if the SAT were trying to test vocabulary with these questions. A third reason we know that sentence completion questions are not about vocabulary is that students frequently choose incorrect answer choices even when they know the meanings of every single word in the question. If this were a vocabulary test, that would hardly ever happen. The fourth reason we know that it's not a vocabulary test is very similar to the third reason. Just as you can answer questions incorrectly when you do know all the words, it's also very possible and very common to answer questions correctly when you don't know all the words. Now think, if the College Board were really trying to test vocabulary, would they make it possible for you to answer questions correctly and with 100% certainty, even on words that most people are not going to know? And the fifth way we can tell that this is not really a vocabulary test has to do with the way the words are structured. Most challenging words on the SAT will involve multiple syllables, and they'll be derived from languages like French or Latin or Greek. In other words, most of the difficult words on the test are words that many high school students may be able to break apart if they try hard enough using the proper strategy. If you really wanted to test people's vocabulary, you would make the challenging words extremely obscure, one-syllable words that nobody could possibly pull apart. But that's not what the College Board does. So, what does the College Board actually do? Well, they give you sentences, they give you answer choices, and all of that provides context. Furthermore, they give you new words with every test, and all of the words can be pulled apart if you have a basic knowledge of prefixes and suffixes and roots. The whole point of the sentence completion questions on the SAT is not to test your vocabulary, but to test your ability to figure out stuff that you don't know by working from things that you do know. This is actually a very useful skill to have in life, so the College Board's probably testing it by accident, but it's something we should still learn how to do anyway. The rest of the video modules will discuss exactly how to approach these questions. Thanks very much for watching. Put your vocabulary list away, and remember, it's easier than you think.